Hello, good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to another NerdTube episode discussion and review. We're talking about Lower Deck Season 3, Episode 7, A
No.
Mathematically Perfect Redemption. I'm Major Rage, and I'm joined by my fellow Trekkies slash Trekkers, cousin Cheeto to my right. How are you this evening, sir?
I am the NerdTube logo.
He's hiding.
He's hiding behind our logo, that's right. Below him, Critical Zam. How are you this evening, boss?
Oh, I'm fine. It's so nice to be co-hosting instead of
Mm.
hosting today. Thank you for the semi-day off.
Always happy to give you some relief, Chief. And to his left, we have Commodore Boone. How are you, sir?
Live long the empire. Good.
So, bit of a weird episode this week. Didn't follow our lower deckers for the most part. They were there just most at the end. But it's just a very different sort of episode, though. For lower decks, we've had episodes of Trek like this before, with a crew member stranded with a pre-warp apparently civilization. But it just I don't know. What were you guys' overall thoughts? Start with you, Cheeto.
Oh God, I hated this episode. I swear to God that this was the worst episode of Lower Decks to date. I watched it twice. Like I watched it on my way home, and while I was kind of getting set up here, I was like, I can't believe I hate this episode this much. I really hated this episode. I cannot express to you how much I hated this episode. So yeah, if that's what I mean, we can get into the dirty deets as we go along here, but I'll pass it down to Boone. But yeah, I really did not like this episode at all. Period.
Oh, it's got dirty in it, all right. I mean, it's almost like a pocket. You know what? It was pretty interesting being at a bird planet that they had technology and stuff like that. As we will get into it later, of course, but it was quite interesting, and I listened to it about 8 times to keep on going to get in this big old noggin up here. And now it passes to Zam.
I love this episode.
Oh God,
I thought you would.
I knew you were gonna love it.
This episode was like it's really good to get an episode where there's hardly any subplot and still be enjoyable. And this episode was that. We just followed this character.
It's the one good thing. The one good thing about it was simple and one story.
Yeah, and exactly, and it's good to follow this particular character around. Yeah, I thought she was hilarious. It wasn't tropey at all, not at all. You know what I mean? You thought it was going to be, but it had more twists and turns, than a proverbial.
You obviously don't have a teenage daughter, is probably what it is.
And I never will, thank God. You know what I mean? But regardless, I mean, look, my brother has a teenage daughter, and I know, you know what I mean? I know that he's he's having to. Anyway, basically, I know what you're going through him. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to go any further than that. But regardless, I thought this episode was fantastic, and I can't wait to talk about it.
It was quite interesting.
How about yourself? How about yourself, Mage?
I couldn't decide how I feel about it. I feel like I definitely agree with Cheeto. It's one of the weakest episodes. I'm not sure if I hate it, but I definitely didn't enjoy it. It's really hard to put into words, and I'm hoping that as we discuss it together, I'll come to some sort of more fully formed opinion. But it's just, at best, it's fence sitting for me on this one. So we'll get to the blow by blow. We're going to try to keep it more brief and do it more just overview. Stop me if there's any particular points you want to discuss or talk about, but I'm going to get right to it.
Okie dokie.
So we start out with kind of a recap of the last scene we ever see of Peanut Hamper and the episode she was in, the season 1 finale.
Damn Cheeto.
After we get this recap, we see the rest of the episode play out.
Hey Ryan, what's up?
Yeah, Sam will pull his comment up in a bit.
I'm sorry, I
I got
thought
it.
you were going to do it. Yeah,
I got it.
someone read it
Ryan,
out.
Read it out, Sam.
Okay, well, my net has been down and I haven't been able to watch it, but I'm here to support my favorite league of letterbox lovers. Thank
There
you
you
very
go.
much.
Thank
I
you
mean,
very much.
apparently, Zam's not the only letterbox lover in this episode. I mean, Peanut Hamper kind of looks like a letterbox, in some areas. So,
Well, a hole's a hole. You know what I mean? So,
We're not talking about letterboxes. Aren't for that kind of package.
okay.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure, Commodore.
He's tried.
So from this recap and then the ensuing scene of Peanut Hamper's point of view as the rest of the events of the end of the season 1 finale play out, and then we see her floating in the debris field during a somber version of the credits, it becomes kind of clear early on that this is going to be a Peanut Hamper episode. And
It sure was.
I was excited at first. I liked Peanut Hamper the first time around. We get, after the intro, we get, implication that time has passed. She's been marking the wall. She's put together and repaired a nacelle she salvaged, and she's scrounged up some dilithium. She's also apparently made a Wilson type. Other
Good Castaway
exocomp
reference.
So good Castaway reference. This, there's kind of the cup. This is the first of a couple like movie type references that I caught going on in this one.
Yeah.
And but her Wilson, Sophia. But as soon as Drakari scavengers show up, she acts in character and ditches Sophia and warps out on the nacelle and ends up coming out of warp and crashing into a planet where she wakes up on this primitive planet with avian humanoids. The elder pledges to restore her after she freaks out, thinking that he's going to dismantle her or whatever.
Yeah, they look like owls, don't they? They're basically
they do look like owls.
Yeah. Very amusing, and all the creatures there, like their pigs, their goats, their turtles, everything has fucking wings.
Everything's got wings, but they still call the sky snakes.
Yeah.
That was something.
So the elder takes her out and to show her the village and show the villagers to her, and they seem mistrustful. Apparently they're a Luddite type civilization. They're mistrustful of technology. The elder ends up assigning his son Rauda to guide Peanut Hamper around during her time.
Did you see the 6-pack on him? By the way, I mean that was a perfectly built owl right there.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
They made sure to show off he was as jacked, if not more jacked, than Ransom.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next morning, he comes in and is appalled by her mess of tennis balls she's been bouncing around while talking shit about the backwards primitive planet on her personal log. And takes her around to do various chores, thatching roofs, milking the winged goats that you were talking about before, Zam.
For a start, like they haven't learned about tiles, which made me laugh.
Yeah.
And the fact that I've actually milked cows. I've done that, and if they were able to fly and like above ground and just milk them that way, oh my god, it would make life so much bloody easier. and just seeing them like just happily like just float in the air while they get milked made me laugh a lot. And she discovered a way of milking them quicker, I believe.
Yeah, she did, using her mechanical abilities, probably can replicate the perfect tool for any situation. So she replicated a milking tool, probably. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but in the middle of this, we have a sky snake attack, and the elder gets bit, takes it out with his spear, starts talking about the great circle, but then Peanut Hamper replicates a hypospray of anti-venom and vitamin mixture
Oh,
and administers it to him, making him feel better than ever.
hey, Bandit, what's up?
Pizza dude and stinky socks. He's a bit like me. He has names for people because he's Danish.
I must be pizza dude because of the time he ripped on my lower decks jacket.
Oh, fair enough.
Could be.
It does look a bit Domino's. It was
Mm.
budget. Funny stuff, Bandit. Don't not unappreciated humor. So we get a commercial break type pause, and Peanut Hamper is very popular in the village. She's been helping people out with their medical issues, ingrown nails, uh, whatnot. Uh, she amazes Rauda by rapidly incubating the full hatchery full of eggs without losing any rapidly with like a heat beam. He flies them to a waterfall where they open up to each other. I don't even want to talk about it, man. It's
Was this
it's
was this?
so
Oh no, you are the host, so
I have to. I
you
have to.
have to.
I have to. I have to recap this part.
Was this before like
This is
she
right.
healed her father? Did she heal her father first and then they went
Yep.
flying away?
Healed the father with anti venom and gave him the vitamins. He felt better than ever. And then
That's
after,
free.
I mean,
What do you want?
I don't know. So they open up to each other, and then somehow,
How are bits
and
going to work?
how they even address it. And Peanut Hamper, the exocomp, and Rowan Rauda, the bird person, they do the nasty, and it's weird. The turtle doves fly. Don't know.
Before they get there, though, like they're flying together, aren't they? And I swear she goes to him, like, "Sing for me," and you go, "Okay." He goes, "Ah, come on, man! I was laughing my fucking head
No,
off."
okay. Now I do have to admit that part was funny. Like that part of what, like when he and like I think it was more funny of her reaction where she's like, "Oh shit! Don't do that again! You scared the shit out of me." Yeah, that was the part that made me laugh. But
she was f-bombing quite a lot in this, which was hilarious as well. So yeah.
They even made the joke where the elder asked what it means, and she's like, "Oh, that's just what you say when you're stuck on a backwater planet."
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, F."
Mm.
There were decent jokes throughout, but it was just so weird in spots that I don't even know what to say about this episode.
For me, it was a bit of like the fish out the water sort of thing. It was not necessarily like actual one-liners. It was more to do with like the differences between this primitive people, or as we assume they are, and they are, and this robot alien. You know what I mean? So
Well,
like it was about chalk and cheese as you can get.
maybe it's that the character became grating. Her shitty attitude and her abbreviations, like some sort of Instagram influencer. It was grating. She's aggravating. It made it not enjoyable. It was funny when Peanut Hamper was nice and then turned on them at the end. That was it was a funny one-off joke. But does she make for a recurring character? I would say
Well,
no.
this is why you appreciate them in small doses. I mean,
Yes.
we haven't seen her in over a season. In 2 seasons. and
And never seen the
so,
real peanut hamper until today. We saw the real peanut hamper for a tiny glimpse at the end when she noped out on them,
Hmm?
in the
well,
season one
you
finale.
get that dances with wolves sort of scenario,
I was
like where
just
you,
about to make that comparison. Thank you.
well,
Thank you.
but not just dances with wolves. This was more Avatar than dances with wolves. Um,
Beautiful avatar, yes.
and so I mean, in various ways, by the way, like the ending as well, like that was very Avatarish. But like you think that she's going to redeem herself by understanding all of this stuff, but no, she's programmed in a way that she will never change. I mean, it's a good thing about being organics. We can change, we can learn. In a way, she'll never learn because she is programmed that particular way. She's always going to
Yep.
be that way.
The use
You
of the
know,
phrase organics, or term organics rather,
Hmm.
and just the whole thing of a living thing and an android falling in love and then doing it. Do you think they were taking the piss out of the Orville?
in what way?
I
Or
think they're
Isaac?
ripping on the Isaac and Claire thing.
Yeah, but Data's
I didn't
fucked
think about
people as
that.
well. I mean,
See,
Data's fucked
I
a couple
call
of girls.
I call bullshit on the they can't change thing. Look at Data. He obviously has changed. Look at and I mean I get it, like it's within a parameter, but also
Data
look
hasn't
at
got a personality. Is a difference. Data, this robot just has a personality.
the Doctor. The Doctor changed. He changed personalities over the 7 years
Yeah,
from
he
The
did.
Voyager.
Doctor, the Doctor
He
is a
grew
phenomenon.
as an
He's not.
entity,
He's 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 ironically not an android, but he's not at the same
but
time. If you know what I mean.
he's still a
Yeah,
mechanical
yeah, I
construct of
agree. I
photons
agree.
and force fields.
I agree. Yeah.
Um,
It just seems that like these sort of like robotic devices, like these sort of like almost box like types, they seem to all be the same. Like you can't trust them in the Star Trek universe. Yeah, for sure.
nope, that's why they have a special place for them at the Daystrom Institute, apparently.
Yeah.
Might
Um,
be.
so after the pillow talk, he takes her to an underground hangar, and we get the revelation that the air
The aliens.
Arior, the
Yeah.
Arior are you know actually they were warp capable at some point in
Mhm.
spacefaring, but their ancestors rejected their tech and returned home to try to be uh, insular, peaceful, and became Luddites, forbidding technology.
Well,
Um,
that's the thing. Like this particular species, they seem to be far more advanced than nearly every other alien race in the galaxy.
yep, I
Because
mean their
they,
ship, it rips the Cerritos apart.
Yeah.
yeah,
Later on.
exactly, yeah, exactly. So
Um,
their tech would be worth, yeah, their technology would be so sought after. If it's so old school, yet it's so advanced.
They got weapons that nobody seen me for. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yep. Get out of there!
So Peanut Hamper, admits her selfishness in the past and seemingly has this revelation about the value of organic life. She
Hmm.
starts throwing the word term organics around. This is where it really started, making me wonder, are they picking fun at the Orville? Uh, you know, they somehow do it again, and then we fast forward, they give us this whole seasons changing montage, and we fast forward to their wedding.
And she's got a beak.
Very Avatar now.
Yeah,
Very
she's got a
Avatar
fucking
now, Zam.
yeah, she got a fucking beak as well. That made me laugh so
Yes,
much.
she's hollowed
Yeah.
up the beak to fit in.
Hmm.
Uh,
She's
the
oh god. How could you not like this episode? There's so much in this episode that made me laugh, man. It was
No,
brilliant.
no, I cringe and I was I was so done with this episode 5 minutes in, and then it just got worse from there. The whole time, like I was just like, oh my god, like I'd rather watch She-Hulk at this point. Like I never say that about anything. I would rather watch Trek before anything, and I said nope. I think I want to watch She-Hulk now.
You know, for some people, there's always going to be a dud, no matter what show you like.
Yep.
There's always going to be a dud episode.
I guess.
Everybody's got their own opinions about shows.
But for me, this was not a dud episode. So I was very happy with it. I was laughing so much in this episode.
So was I.
Yeah, I was laughing a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, please
I'm
continue.
glad somebody enjoyed it. I mean,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, I'm glad there are people out there who enjoy it. But me, I even probably in rewatches, I would probably skip this one.
It's just her entire character. Like she's just very Peanut Hamper is very funny. Just being Peanut Hamper without all the shenanigans. She's very funny, man. Anyway.
Shenanigans.
See, I would disagree. I find her nasty attitude just off-putting. It, the first couple of times it was funny, but it just became grating.
Don't you find?
But I'm glad
sometimes,
you enjoyed it. I'm not trying to yuck your yum
Right.
at all.
Don't you sometimes find amusement in bad people?
Yes, in small doses. I feel like they overplayed it, and that we don't need a Peanut Hamper episode.
Okay.
So the Drakmari show up again, disrupting the wedding. They demand the ancient ships, but the locals resist. The Drakmari retreat and start tractoring the ships up from underground, and it begins destroying the treetop village.
Yep.
Once again, being Avatar, like this is the Avatar sort of moment as well. Like at the end of the film, where the aliens, the Na'vi are fighting against the humans, and there's all that unobtainium or where the fuck it's called underneath that tree. You know what I mean? This felt like Avatar, like all these spaceships are underneath their ground. If they rip them out, then it destroys their homes. So yeah.
Yep. Gotta get that MacGuff in them.
You're just ripping the roots of those trees right out, along with the ships.
Peanut Hamper sends a distress call, despite saying all episode that she didn't want to send a distress call to Starfleet.
But we know why though. Like it makes sense though now.
It makes sense now, yeah. But at the time, it's just like. But her whole turnaround, coupled with the attitude, the dichotomy of it, it was sus all along. And inexplicably, the Cerritos gets the distress call, and they're close enough to make it there before the Drakmari are able to get everything and haul ass away. Peanut Hamper decides that she can save the day. She gets into their landing ship, flying into the Drakmari mothership, and overloads its engines. The Cerritos arrives, and the captain, Shax, and Tendi beam down. Rauda tries to protect Peanut Hamper, saying, you can't take her. She's one of us now. And the captain's like, we don't want to punish anybody. We want to thank her for saving the day. We saw it.
Oh.
But the captain's ready to take her back, and the Drakmani begin attacking again. They beamed
before all that happened. Like she goes, like her and her husband now, like she's saying, look, these people are my flock, and all of that sort of stuff. And she's just trying to like politely leave him. But yeah, as you mentioned, the Drakmari come down.
They're just
she's trying to get away already, but he's like, no, I can come with you. Can you take a devoted husband? But the Drakmani have gotten onto this ancient Eeyore ship and begin attacking not only the treetop village, but then turn on the Cerritos. When hailed, they claim that they've been betrayed by Starfleet treachery, and that they received an invitation to come here and salvage this garbage. ultimately playing back a recording they made of Peanut Hamper telling them to come and salvage these old Aoroi ships. Uh, she tries her way her lie her way back into the good graces of both groups, with neither one of them having it.
But this
And
was brilliant, like the way she spoke about them, like they're a bunch of Neanderthals,
Mhm.
and the shock as well on Freeman's face when she finds out that this was that Peanut Hamper was playing it all along. Brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. No redemption for Peanut Hamper. She always was and always will be this evil little robot, and I love it. I love it so much.
I will give
And
them credit for subverting the trope and having
yeah,
her be non-redeemable. I will give them credit for it. Just doesn't equal entertainment though. But I props on them for subverting the trope for sure. Um. So so ultimately, Peanut Hamper leaves them all in the thick of it again, and the Cerritos is on the ropes when the village is collapsing, and Rauda emerges in an even bigger Arior ship and just obliterates the one that the Drachmani are on, and you know it saves the day. They end up taking Peanut Hamper to the Daystrom's Institute's self-aware megalomaniacal computer storage area, where
yeah,
she is greeted by Agamus, the Jeffrey Combs voiced
yeah. I'm glad he was there. I was
evil
hoping he would
computer.
show up.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
episode is a 10 out of 10 because with Jeffrey Combs, it's a redeemable factor.
That yep, one of the that Jeffrey Combs is a big plus. Having one plot line and not four separate stories going on is a definite plus, and subverting tropes is a definite plus. Uh, but
yeah, for sure.
there's a lot of pluses in it, but I just overall didn't enjoy the episode, and I'm not sure if I hated it like you did, Cheeto, but I didn't have fun watching this week.
I I like the fact
We
that when she was amongst those robots and she starts doing the evil laugh.
Well,
Uh, yeah, and then everyone else starts laughing, but they all have delusions of
oh
like
shut
grandeur
up.
of we're going to kill all the humans and take over the universe or
Yep.
whatever. And everyone else starts laughing, and she gets pissed off and goes, "No, no, no! Only I'm
don't
supposed to
laugh with
fucking laugh."
us.
Yeah, don't shut up, shut up. Be quiet, be
No,
quiet.
no,
Yeah, it was really good.
one of several funny jokes, but just as the overall package,
Yep.
I'm not
And
sure.
she's just laughing so much, like she's like when she was making fun of her husband, like he even cries after sex. I mean, it's like so funny, and just ridiculing him, telling him to shut the fuck up, and oh god, I was like this is this little floaty robot,
Wow.
called Peanut Hamper.
You do love like that savage, insulting kind of humor, though. That's more your speed.
When it has to be done right, what I mean, and it was done right. Like
He's done right, all right.
yeah, it was done right in my opinion.
Yep.
You can have that type of humor and it doesn't work, but when it works and like it worked here, like with the twist, knowing that she was evil all along and she hadn't turned a new leaf, it worked brilliantly. And so I have to commend them for that. For sure.
It had a lot of twisted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was
Um,
dying. It's good to see that
Yeah,
a show like Lower Decks, in my opinion, doesn't have to rely on its main four. It can go outside the box, like it did the episode with the other Lower Decks crew members, the
right.
Vulcan ones and the Klingon ones, and the Borg ones at the end. It can go that different direction here and there, and it was good to see like this sort of an episode like this, where where we get a returning character we haven't seen in a long time, and just give them their dues. And I'm sure that she'll get her dues again, especially now that she's surrounded by other evil robots.
Oh yeah, remains to be seen. Coming soon.
Mm.
The
Never know
Agam
what's going to happen.
it when they do the Agamus Peanut Hamper team up escape episode, Jeffrey Combs will carry it. He'll have back pain from carrying the episode so hard.
Mm.
Uh, but it's not something that I'm personally excited for. Cheeto, do you have anything to add overall about the episode? Do you want any particular gripes?
No, just a lot of the whole episode was just awful. Like I couldn't get past her. I couldn't get past how stupid the owl people were. I mean,
They were stupid. I agree with
probably
you.
probably, and I mean they were a spacefaring race before.
Yep.
So it's like it's just
Well, their ancestors
for
were
every
like,
reason why Zam loves this episode is probably why I hate it, except for the subversion at the end. Like that was okay. I mean, granted, it makes sense for her to like concoct this whole scenario just to get a redemption with Starfleet, but at the same time, it's like I hated spending all this time with this peanut hamper. She's okay in moderation, like you were saying, Mage, but like just spending so much time with her just made me want to gouge my ears out.
she's like their version of Law. And by the way, Law is a better
No, Laura is
example.
nowhere near as annoying as.
No, but Law is a better example of how someone is not going to necessarily learn. They are who they are. They're
Mhm.
programmed that way to be that way, and he will always be an evil motherfucker. And happens to have emotions as well, but he's a programmed emotional evil motherfucker, and
He has
you can't change him.
motivations.
Yeah, but
Lore
he's still
actually
a
has motivations.
but
Peanut
he
Hamper's
Motivation.
motivation
Yep.
is
He's an angsty teen in a robotic body.
yeah, and
true.
that's who she always be. She won't evolve because that's her programming. You know, so yeah. Anyways,
Um, anything else before we start marking it?
um, I would like to see maybe where we go with this alien race in the future as well with all this technology, and will they
Mhm.
maybe start to embrace their past because it is a different like generation compared to the one that came to that particular planet several
Rauda,
generations.
yep,
Yeah,
Rauda did have a pro technology opinion at the end, and his
but
father basically passed leadership on to him, so we
but the
could
thing
see
with
more of
Star
them in the
Trek
future.
in general, TOS, TNG, and Voyager to a degree, is that there's so many one and done aliens. There's
Hmm.
so many, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think even DS9 has had a few episodes with some one and doneers, from the Gamma Quadrant. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we never see or hear from these motherfuckers ever again. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, but it would be nice because their technology interests me as well because they seem to have a very advanced technology from an ancient era, and that's a very amazing combination.
Yeah, it
That
is.
sort of that sort of tech always ends up having a cool kind of organic or crystalline look to it, and
Yep.
that would be neat to see. And Lower Decks has been proving itself to be more and more self-referential as time goes on. But you have a very good point. There's tons of one and done alien races and technological sets throughout the history of Trek.
I got a
So
question after you. What do you guys think of Boimler and Mariner piloting the Cerritos? I mean, should they be able to do that considering their lower decks? I mean, surely that's that's not they're not worthy of doing something like that because they're lower decks.
we've
You know,
seen
part,
no names pilot be at those stations
Yep.
on various
yeah, but
enterprises at
they might
time.
not necessarily be lower decks. Those particular no names are just like the thing with Star Trek is that they're on a ship with hundreds of people, but it's always the same fucking five or six that end up doing everything.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like how many times do we see like people piloting a ship, then they go on an away mission, they leave their fucking station, and then they go on the away mission when somebody else should be going on that away mission, not those motherfuckers piloting the ship. We see that with Data all the time. He'll be piloting the ship and then he goes on an away mission, and
Yeah,
somebody out of
but
nowhere.
Data's a walking computer. You always want
All
tactically,
right.
you always want him on an away mission.
No, I agree. I agree, but it seems to be like the bridge, like theoretically, the bridge crew and the away team should be totally different from each other, you know. But they're never like the bridge crew. You know, tends to be the away team as well.
But you also need your like for certain scenarios, you also need your most skilled members, and
Yes.
a lot of times you that would be the chief of that. Like, so if you're going to do repairs, you would obviously take your chief engineer, chief security, if it's not a secure facility. But
You
like
can't.
I mean, but when you go in the original series and you've got like Kirk, Spock, and McCoy all going on missions, that's that TNG did it right. Like Kirk or Picard was never on an away mission with Riker. It was either Riker or Picard,
Right.
and the other one stayed back. So I mean, like the one thing I never liked about
Yeah.
TNG is that they were like, well, we got to, and I mean, they do this in Discovery. They've done this in Lower Decks. They've done this in
The
even
Orville.
in Strange New Worlds and in the Orville. They take all of their bridge crew with them.
All the superior officers. That was crazy. That one
Yeah.
mission. The
And I
admiral,
mean,
the captain, the fucking everyone. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
like that's why I'm like, TNG did a pretty good job of like making a manageable party. Like for the skill set that they're looking to do. If they have science, they'll take a science, the chief science officer with them. But that's why, since Spock was chief science officer and the first officer, if it was a science situation, Kirk should have always stayed on the Enterprise, and then Spock should have gone. Or if it was maybe more diplomatic or something like, or combat, then if you had to have, Kirk, if it was combat, Kirk shouldn't have gone anyway. But you know what I mean? Like they don't. They're like, we got to get these faces on screen time. Where the one thing I always appreciated about TNG is their party management was really on point. And yeah, you always had Geordi and Data and Riker, because those are kind of your three main away team guys. And most times Worf, because he's chief of security.
Mhm.
So like, I understand your
Geor-
point of like, these guys are too important to kind of send, but at the same time, you always want your most skilled assets like in the field making executive decisions.
Geordie a bit less. Geordie a bit less when he became the chief engineer. And I always found it weird when they would take the chief engineer, with them. Like, maybe I can understand a science officer, but you want to keep your engineer on your ship where he's doing the engineering. To take him for away missions, or like you take maybe your second engineer or something like that, but you keep the big boss at home, in my opinion.
But you want to get done on the surface or the space station or the whatever and get back to the ship as soon as possible and get on your way. So you take the best people, like Cheeto was saying.
I guess. But I remember that one episode of Orville though. Like they had the admiral.
Oh,
they had the captain.
The admiral
they
with
had,
them, like
they had the admiral, the captain. They had the first officer.
the second
chief
officer.
Engineer. Yeah,
wasn't Bortus with them?
Maybe, but they had the chief engineer. They had the chief medical officer.
I think it was
the chief security officer.
I think they took what's his face? The funny guy. Why am I forgetting
Gordon?
his name?
Malloy.
Yeah, Malloy. I think Isaac and what's his nuts? Isaac and
Isaac
stayed
Lamar?
Isaac stayed Isaac stayed
Lamar.
on board.
Yeah, Isaac and Lamar were like the only two main characters left on board in that scene.
No, Lamar went because he's the chief engineer. Lamar
I don't think
went.
he did in that episode. The one you're talking about? I don't think he did.
Are you sure? I'm sure he did. I think Charlie stayed behind.
We could do a whole topical vid of the boneheaded things the crew of the Orville did.
You don't like the Orville?
No, I love the Orville.
Okay.
I just feel like their command decisions are terrible at times, especially the time they lied in the middle of their diplomacy, pretending that the women were in charge. You start diplomacy by breaking the trust of the people you want to ally yourselves with. Like,
I posted one of our upcoming reviews of the Orville on a Star Trek fan page on Facebook, and this one person who's a proper Star Trek fan despised the Orville. And I was having like a sort of semi-trolling moment communicating with them because they were really passionate about their disdain for the Orville. Like, they could not understand why everyone else hates. Sorry, everyone loves the Orville because she hated it. I can't remember the conversation too well now, but it was very, very amusing because nearly every Star Trek person I know loves the fucking Orville. You know,
I
it
loved it.
was, yeah, Orville's
Yeah,
fantastic.
I mean,
it
here's
was
the
You know
thing.
what
great.
I mean?
It's not Trek, but it's
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 good
good.
Trek.
Trek.
Oh, it's
It's
good.
You
Trek.
know, like that's the thing is that I think
Yeah.
that some people are just upset the fact that it is good Trek, but it's not Trek. You know, like
Yeah.
full on Trek. So
Damn
that's why
close to it
I
though.
think some people are purists, and
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn
If they
close
had
to it.
transporters, it would be proper Trek.
Yeah, it would
That's the
be.
only thing. Yeah, the only thing. Anyway, I'm sorry for the tangent. I do apologize.
No problem.
No, it's all good. We're here to discuss things.
That's right.
Was this episode 8?
This was episode 7,
7.
Okay, so we
so
got only three more weeks
3
of
more left.
Yep.
Yep.
3 more left, and then we're done.
Hopefully 3 more bangers because we've had some really good episodes this season so far. Uh, but I just I don't are we ready to mark, gentlemen?
Yeah, yeah,
Cheeto, I'll start with you and we'll go
Um,
clockwise.
Also, I threw a poll up in the chat. So if anyone went, we have 13 people watching and only one person put in the chat. We want to know what you guys thought of this episode. So come on, hit that poll button. Anyway, I'm gonna give it a 2 because Jeffrey Combs was at the end. Everything else about this episode I kind of thought was absolute garbage. Um, but yeah, I just can't. I'm giving it a 2. That's that's it.
All right. Zam.
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of torn between 8 and 9. Um, I'm finding it very, very difficult to know exactly where.
Just
I'm finding it very.
go with
I
2.
find it very.
Go with 2, Zam. It's okay.
I'll give it an 8. Um, I did like it very much. And yeah, it was a good episode. So fair enough. Before we go to Boone, let me just quickly read what Brian has to say. Well, I still haven't seen it, so I'll withhold judgment. Withhold judgment there, but I can now add. Oh, someone said that word for me. An anthropomorphic, but
Anthropomorphic.
Anthropomorphic.
yeah, bird people with 6 pack
And
to the odd things I know. Zam finds it. God. No, I don't find that sexually attractive.
No, I think you do.
You pointed out how jacked he was. I mean, you were excited for a
It
second. I
have-
it
thought you were going to
attracted
use.
your eyes, Zam. So
You couldn't help but notice how jacked they were, but whether I was attracted to it, no. I'm more into like someone like I'll be more into someone like Velma from Scooby Doo. You know, the one we recently found out was who swings both ways now. So yeah, I mean, you've seen those legs in
Always
that
has.
miniskirt. You know what I mean? So, yeah, exactly.
They
You
all
know,
4 rode around in a van together. That's a whole discussion for another day. I'll just
and
leave it
not
at that.
one joint amongst a lot of them. You would have thought they would have pulled out a big fat doobie to have it with Scooby, but no, they didn't do any of that shit. And they all come across as stones, especially Shaggy.
well,
I mean,
I mean,
Because they
how can they
all
eat how can they eat
were.
that? Because how can they eat that
wait till the
much
adult
without getting the
version of
munchies?
Scooby Doo comes out. There's an adult version of Scooby Doo coming out. Did you
Oh,
guys see
Doobie and
that
fantastic!
Scooby,
today?
huh?
With Mindy Kaling
Yeah.
as Velma. Um, okay,
Anyway,
Commodore ranking.
Commodore.
I think it was a very funny episode. I mean, I'm out there mowing grass, making lines, and I'm just laughing. I mean, I had a customer come on and says, "What are you laughing about?" I says, "I'm listening to Lower Decks. I listened to it 8 times." Yes, Cheeto, 8 times. I think it was a good episode, especially the part where the little robot is doing exams on everybody, and the one guy says, "Oh, I can't wait to fill your hole." I'm like, that sounds like a pocket pussy to me. It's
A
like,
pocket pussy.
damn. But I mean, I laughed my ass off in that part, and of course the owl goes, "Oh, ho!" He just screeching away. We'll give it a 7.
Oh, he's giving it less mark than me.
Okay. My turn.
Your turn.
5. 5. I mean, not great, average. I'd rather watch a lot of things
Star
more
Wars.
than this. I
I'd
would have
rather watch
rather been spending
Andor.
my time watching Andor. Absolutely, would rather
Yeah.
have been watching Andor.
Just so everybody knows, all the viewers out there, unfortunately we are in the minority mage. We are 1 to 5 is at 40%, and 8 to 9 is at 60%. So we are in the
Oh, let me
minority.
Okay,
see this
There you
shit. Let me
go.
see this shit.
no,
You
I'm
gotta
glad
actually
people
you gotta
enjoyed
go to
it.
the actual
Yeah,
review on YouTube to see it.
exactly.
No, I'm glad folks enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. There's a lot of stuff I would much rather watch this than. There's tons. I mean, but just they funny jokes didn't, at times didn't, and there were, it was good that there was just one plot,
Mm.
and the Combs' appearance, return of Agamus, didn't overcome the fact just some of those weird scenes, and it felt more like Avatar Dances with Wolves
Mm.
than a Star Trek story. I mean, it was done like those movies and not like Star Trek episodes with similar plots.
I agree. I
Um,
agree.
That worked. Yep.
Well, I'm
uh,
sure we'll be back with our usual lower decks crew next week. With
probably have a
running
return
their
to
shit.
normalcy.
Yeah,
Um,
I have a feeling that we'll have like a standard episode of episode 8, and possibly this is my gut just saying this, and maybe a two-parter of episode 9 and 10. And
I'd agree with
Could
you
be.
there.
I'm gonna call it right now.
Sam.
Sam is right. Great episode. Right, mate. Is that him trying to do an English accent by writing it down?
There you go.
Yes,
Okay,
right, mate.
white,
Right.
mate. Yeah, white.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right,
it's like
geezer.
Carl
He's,
Urban.
he's a
Oh,
proper top
blimey.
bloke, isn't he? The proper top bloke at Ryan Jeffries or Jellies. Yeah, jelly eels, mate. Jelly eels with how's your father? Top of the morning to you. Fucking hell. Is that what you want? I'm giving him what he wants. I'm giving
Yeah,
him what
he's
he wants
dying
right now.
right now. I can assure you, he is dying right now.
Giving him all the fucking Britishness as you can get. You know what I mean? Toodle pip. All right.
Also, if you guys are enjoying Zam's accent, that Cockney accent down there, please hit the like button. We've got
Yeah.
15 people watching, 14 people watching, and we've got 6 likes. Please hit that like button. It helps the analytics a lot and everything like that. Okay, shameless self plug over.
No,
The anal lick ticks. All
Yes,
right,
the
let's go.
analytics. There we
Thumbs
go.
up. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
want to thank everyone who has joined us. Want to thank anybody who watches this down the line and didn't get live with us. Hope to see you next time. We talk about a ton of topics here on NerdTube. So after you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss us talking about everything from Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, to Quantum Leap, to Final Fantasy, to Dragon Ball Z, to sports entertainment. What am I leaving out, guys?
Well,
Marvel and Star
tomorrow,
Wars.
Marvel and DC. I mean, we talk about it all here. It's
man. I
so
can't
hard
wait.
to.
Yeah,
What do we got
tomorrow
tomorrow?
She-Hulk is going to be interesting.
She-Hulk, MCU. Then
Yeah.
Saturday's what? Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Lord of the Bud Dinglings. Yes. Can't be
Ding,
waiting to
ding.
talk about that. And we might, if we can. But I heard. Let me just double check. Bear with me. I believe. Werewolf by Night is out.
Is it out today? I didn't see it.
I'm just checking right now. I heard it was coming out on the 7th. Somebody told me. I think it was Jake.
And what's going on Sunday? Day of rest?
No.
Oh no,
If
no
Werewolf
rest for
by,
the
if
wicked.
Oh. No rest for
That's
the
what Daniel.
Werewolf by Night.
That's what
Yeah,
Daniel
coming-
Vance said. He said
coming
that,
on
and on the
to-
7th day they rested.
That's right.
Yes, it's coming out today, but not for me today. Maybe for you. Maybe
I didn't
later
see it
on
when I
today.
logged into Disney Plus earlier.
It says 7th of October, 2022.
Well, that's
So,
okay. That's tomorrow.
Oh shit, I forgot. Yeah, it's just turned midnight for me today. Yeah, so yeah, on this Sunday, I will try to get you guys a Werewolf by Night trailer. Sorry, not trailer, review, and yeah, join us for that. So yeah, make sure you sign up to us because I cannot wait. Tomorrow, I'm gagging, I'm bursting at the seams to talk about She-Hulk tomorrow. I can't wait. I have to wait 24 fucking hours for that shit. But yeah, join us for that. It's going to be fun. There's a lot to talk about. If you know, you know.
So yes, hit that subscribe button, smash the bell icon so you don't miss any of the
Hit that
mountains of
sucker.
content we've got coming out. We do fan
Yep.
film reactions, topical videos. So lots of different contributors here, lots of voices to hear points of view from. Want to thank everybody again for watching. This has been a NerdTube production, the best channel that you've maybe sort of kind of never heard of. Live long
Yeah.
and prosper, and good night.
May the force be with you.
Always.
Yep. Take care.